back, guys, to Jared the Journeyman. Today we're going to go over some common mistakes to avoid on exam day when you're out taking your journeyman's test. The day arrives. Well, let's take one more before even the day arrives. So you've got your application in and you've been approved for your test, and they give you a location to go to. Drive to that location and make sure you know where it's at. Maybe even time yourself from your house to the location so you know how much time to allow on test day to get to the spot. So now that's done. Test day's here. You finally wake up. You probably didn't sleep too good. Nerves were maybe working on you, but you got up and get up. First thing, don't arrive late. Know that travel time. If it takes you 30 minutes to get there, allow another 30 minutes. So you would be there, you'd leave an hour ahead of time. Just maybe traffic, may have a flat tire, accidents, something else. So allow that time. No need to get there and be all upset because you're late. So plan ahead, plan at least 30 minutes ahead before test time to get there. Once you get there, make sure you have the essential materials with PSI, and I'm just using my example. You need the code book and an ID, and that's it. Because what they're going to do is they're going to have you go in and they can take everything. They take everything out of your pockets, make you flip your pockets inside out. If you have a sweater on, long sleeves, they'll look and make sure you're not hiding anything up your sleeves, and make you take your wallet once you show your ID with your telephone, with your keys and anything else, and put it in a locker. They'll supply the lock and give you the key to the lock, but make sure you have the essential stuff you need. If you forget your ID, you might as well just go back home and reschedule your test, because they're not going to allow you to test just by word of mouth of who you are. So make sure you have the essential stuff. Once you get in there, or once you even start the whole process, and that's starting at the front desk, don't ignore the instructions. Follow the instructions step by step. PSI is going to give you a ID, customer ID or something, and probably a location like a cubicle number 6 or number 8 or whatever it is. So sometimes you have to go in and you have to punch in your ID. Make sure you punch in that ID exactly the same, because that ID is associated to your test. If you get it wrong, then you won't have a test and they won't let you reevaluate or resubmit. So follow instructions step by step once you get in there. Not, oh, what I think. No, just follow it. All right. Now you're up, your test, you're on the screen. They usually give you a few practice tests that you, or practice questions that you go through. They show you how to use everything. But once your test starts, don't get stuck on a question. Remember, by average, it's probably about 3 minutes per question. So don't get stuck on a question. If you don't know it, you have the ability to mark it and move on. But if you spend too much time on these questions, you're going to run out of time and not be able to complete all of the questions. So you know it, great. If you don't, mark it, know that you got to come back to it. But don't sit there. If you spend 5 minutes on a question, you're losing a bunch of time. Hopefully you can make it up somewhere else on another question that's easier. Another one is overusing or not using the code book correctly. Make sure, if you haven't seen my other video, I'll link it up here, but make sure to know how to use that code book. Don't make this the first time you crack that code book open, or the second time, because you'll be looking up something and then you'll get caught down a rabbit hole and go, oh, check that out. Let's go look at this. And next thing you know, you're spinning off and you're doing other things. So stay focused, use that code book when you need it. Most of the time we will need it for a quick reference. but don't just set it on the side and not use it. It is a tool that we need to be able to use. So manage your use of your code book. Don't overuse it. Don't catch yourself and stop yourself if you get caught going down a rabbit hole, going, oh, hey, hospitals, check this out. Oh, look at this. We can do this here in 517. Oh, I need to remember that. We're working on a hospital. Don't do that. Stay focused on the test. Another one is um, don't overthink your answer. Second guessing your answer has been proven that you will mark it wrong. The first instinct, because you may have to go in there and you may have 5 minutes left and you have 10 questions left. You're going to have to pick up the pace. You're not going to be able to look the stuff up. You're just going to have to guess. And maybe you've been studying this material and it comes to you. You don't know how it comes to you. You know the answer. Just put it down. Don't go back and look. Just go. Don't ever leave any questions blank. So when you're taking your test, I believe it's in the upper right-hand corner. There's a clock, a countdown timer to tell you how much time you have left. Utilize that. Every once in a while, look up and see what time, because it's amazing. You'll start the test, you'll get going, and you look up and you're like, holy cow, 45 minutes is gone. And it seems like I've only been here 5 minutes. So manage that. Don't leave questions blank and don't overthink your answers. If you somehow think you know that answer, put it down. If it's B, put B down. Another one is time management. You guys make sure you manage your time correctly. Remember, you have 3 minutes per question. So when it comes down to 10 minutes or 5 minutes, whatever that borderline is for you or that finish line is for you, you're just going to have to just start pulling up answers and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 1, 2, 3, and 4. Usually it's the 4 options. And remember, there's 2 of them you can automatically take out. So that's putting you up to 50%. And then it's the other 2. So you can fluctuate between those 2 for your answers. So use time properly, but don't leave time on the plate. That's like leaving food on the plate. Use up your time. So it's kind of a learning curve on that test taking. If you've taken tests before, you've kind of got it down. If you're new to taking tests, then it's going to be a little challenge, but just know it's there. Make sure you don't run out of time, and don't walk out of there with an hour left on your timer. You may want to slow down, but then again, don't second guess. Maybe rework your math calculations and stuff and make sure everything's good on that. Another one, a big one, guys, and I do it all the time, and here I am preaching to you, and I do it. Know what you need as far as food. Don't skip breakfast if you're a breakfast person. Don't skip the coffee if you're a coffee person. Make sure you get your 2 cups of coffee. Make sure you get your plate of food in the morning if that's what you do. You cannot chew gum in this test. So you can't have a pinch of snuff. You can't have any chew. You can't have a gum. You can't, I don't even think they let you go out and smoke a cigarette. So know what you're going to have to get through the next 2.5 to 3 hours when you're in there testing. Don't freak out. Just bear with it. You will survive. But if we don't eat and we don't keep our caffeine up, we'll crash. And that's out of our body's normal pattern. So keep your body in the normal pattern. Eat, drink your coffee, do what you got to do. Maybe burn 2 or 3 cigarettes before you get in there so you're full of nicotine, and then take the test. But don't try to go in there and just survive, because you're not going to do well. You're not doing yourself any favor. And last, don't let the anxiety take over. If you've studied, you're ready. Just tell yourself that. You are ready if you've studied. Don't sit there and second guess. Don't be negative. I always start out 24 hours ahead of time with positive thoughts. I am going to pass the test. I've studied. I know what's going to be on that test, and I'm going to be ready for that test. If you can block out those negative thoughts for 24 hours to get yourself prepped, just like a just like an athlete. They know the same thing. They can make that shot. Golfers can make that, know what swing to hit the ball in, to putt, whatever. Free throws, shooting them. Same thing with us guys. Get prepared and be positive. Don't don't let those don't let those negative thoughts slip in. Fight those negative thoughts for 24 hours before the test, and it'll help you out. Be positive about it. You've studied. You've prepared yourself. So give it a shot. And guess what? If you don't pass it, sign up and do it again. Again, they're not in the business to pass you guys those testing centers. They're in the business to test you. So they want you to be a return customer. Prove them wrong. And just keep the negative thoughts out. And if you do fail it, load them up and go again. Get back up online, schedule it, and go. And don't give up. Just keep going until you get it passed. Positive thoughts all the time. All right, so a little recap. Don't arrive late. Know where you're going. Don't forget the essentials, which is pretty much your ID and your code book. Don't ignore the exam instructions. Read every instruction and follow it to the T. Don't fall in love with a question. Don't spend too much time on it. Hit it and quit it. Don't misread questions. Skimming questions will kill you. I think I skipped that one. So skimming questions, take your time and read the question. Figure out what it's asking and answer that question. They're notorious for spinning a huge yarn on these questions. They'll be asking a size of conductor for a tap, but then they'll start giving you amperage and voltage of everything else and three phase and blah blah blah, and underground, and ignore all that. Pick out the meat of the question and answer it. All right. Overusing or misusing the code book. Don't spend too much time in your code book. Don't get caught going down those rabbit holes. The code book is not a good, easy read, but somehow we get stuck doing all this rabbit hole stuff. So go home and read it. Don't read it during your exam. Don't overthink your answers. If you think you know the answer, put it down. Don't overthink it. Keep an eye on that clock for your time management. Remember to eat, drink, smoke, whatever you need to do before you get in there. Make sure your body's what it's used in the state it's used to. And stay positive. Negative Nancy steps in your head, you're screwed. And as electricians, we all have those voices in our head that probably beating us down a little bit. Tell it to shut up, and you're going to pass the test. Easier said than done, but it takes practice. So that's all I got, guys. Good luck on your test. Like I said, if you don't pass your test, sign up and hit it again, man. It's taken me, I've taken multiple tests multiple times. So just stay after it. Don't give up and go from there. So good luck again. Like always, be safe out there, and we'll talk soon.